against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Odu. This is coming weeks after the intervention of President Bola Tinubu, who met with the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, the governor, and some stakeholders in the state. The decision was announced during Thursday's sitting in Port Harcourt. Lawmakers had earlier accused the governor of gross misconduct, including unauthorized spending and the demolition of the assembly complex. Previous efforts to remove the executive were stalled by court rulings and political disputes. For this conversation, we're joined by Professor Iyalla Peterside. He is a Rivers State stakeholder. He joins me alongside a legal practitioner, Osigwe Momoh. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. I'll start with you, Prof. As a Rivers State stakeholder, how do you think the halt in impeachment proceedings will impact the stability and governance of the state, considering the allegations of gross misconduct against Governor Fubara and his deputy? Also, the fact that this is the third time an impeachment proceeding has been halted.
Thank you, Felicity. I think that as a Nigerian, as a Rivers citizen, I welcome the ceasefire, because that's what I call this. It's a ceasefire because this is the third iteration, as you said before, of this events, and hope that this is the beginning of a prolonged disarmament process and hopefully some resolution of the disputes that were at stake. The problem for me is twofold. One, we don't know the details of the agreements that were set. How different are they from the ones that were set before? And two, we have to see that the interests of the Rivers people have been protected by whatever agreements were reached by the president and the contestants vis-a-vis the governor and the FCT minister.
Osigwe Momoh, what are the legal implications of the Rivers State Assembly's decision to halt impeachment processes, and what precedents do you think this sets?
That our politicians and our lawmakers are more interested in politics, and none of them have any, or none of them appear to have any regard for our sacred constitution. You know, impeachment should be a sacred duty that should be apolitical. People should face it because the constitution mandated it. But it's almost like a mockery. It's almost as if any time a politician has run foul of the political leaders, somebody would just run into Section 188 and just start, you know, making a nuisance of some sort. I believe that if the lawmakers had respected the people, respected the Constitution, they will not, you know, whimsically jump into this process just for glaring political purposes. And when Mr. President suspends it, they say, oh, it's okay. Okay, so the question is, so why were you in this process in the first place? If you think it can be politically solved, if you think that the governor has committed, according to the Constitution, gross misconduct, something so intolerable, so unstomachable that you need to kick him out, and you started this process in the first place, how then is it so easy to just suspend it? Of course, it tells you that these people don't care about our Constitution, they don't care about the laws, they just, they have trivialized this process, they've made a mockery of it, and years to come, we expect more of the same. It's a bad precedent generally. It's odious, it's despicable, it's sad. Every Nigerian could see from the one that this was just a charade. And yeah, sad as it is, they have no respect. It should be one of the last things you should do, to impeach an elected governor or president. Yeah, indirectly, the Constitution gave you that leeway to usurp the will of the people of some sorts. And before you take that duty, you need to tell yourself that the entire people who voted for this man, if indeed there was voting in the first place, there was a reason why their decision has been suspended. You don't jump into that process, insult our sensibility, waste our money, left that state ungovernable, and because you came out of Aso Rock, you decide to forget the people that matters, which is the real electorate of Rivers State. Power should come from Rivers State, from Ogoni, from Buguma, from Degema, and not from Aso Villa or whoever the president or however the political parties decide to run it. It's sad, generally speaking. I don't think as Nigerians we should stomach this and we should forget this. We should remember that our politicians are making a mockery of our entire political process.
All right, Prof, the president's intervention, a lot of persons have commended, but then again, there were court cases that has been suspended, and the House is now saying they are only doing this because of the intervention of the president. But the allegations were huge, gross misconduct and other allegations. Are they now satisfied that the governor is innocent? Is this a political, I mean, the lawyer alluded to that every time there is an issue, the impeachment will be brought up, or this is a lasting solution?
As my friend Momoh just said, this was always political. And when you trump up charges and have no basis for them, then it's easy to put them aside when it's convenient. I think that the move to impeach the governor, the elements of the impeachment were clearly political. So the political solution they have finally reached, which they should have reached a long time ago so that the state can move forward. I agree with Mr. Momoh that the problem we have in Nigerian politics is that we're not building structures that are stable and are reproducible and creating precedents that we can rely on. The courts, the executive, and the judiciary are not helping us create a stable democratic process. What I mean by stable is a democratic process that is not varied, that does not depend on the whims and caprices of politicians and legislators, that will have systems that can withstand the time based on our constitution and all the interpretation thereof. And unfortunately, that's not the case. This is not the first time that a governor has been impeached for no reason. This is not the first time a governor has been threatened with impeachment on flimsy excuses, and it will not be the last until our courts and our members of assembly and the legislature find a backbone to push back against these frivolous activities. This will continue to happen. Democracy is still very young relative to most, and it's important that we lay down foundations that are strong enough to resist the caprices and whims of politicians, because they will always do what they want. But we have to have institutions that support the Constitution and back up the Constitution. And unfortunately, that has been failing, especially from the judiciary.
Osigwe Momoh, the Speaker, in announcing the withdrawal of the impeachment proceedings, said it was dependent on the governor withdrawing the cases in court. I can't remember all the details now, but we know that at some point in the conflict, when the matter went back to court and the governor had already withdrew his case from the court, he paid a penalty for that action. This time, if you recall the case, you might just tell us about it. This time, how confident are you that the governor will not regret his actions of withdrawing cases that were meant to take him out of office?
All of us can be confident. You know, this is an ongoing issue. I see a lot of landmines in it. I hope that, you know, there will be peace for the people of Rivers State. But quite frankly, not all the issues for the impeachment, I'll come to the second leg of the question anyways, not all the issues for the impeachment were completely flimsy or frivolous. For crying out loud, the assembly complex was razed down. And we have good reasons to believe that it was the executive governor of Rivers State that was directly or indirectly involved, or he has not done anything in his power to confirm those who brought down the legislative building, i.e. the seats of legislature in the states. So it's an affront to the Constitution. That is, in my opinion, and I want to believe in almost every sound thinking person's opinion, that is gross misconduct. If indeed we can link that to the governor. We know that there was going to be impeachment proceedings, and in a tawdry manner, the building came down. There has to be something. And if somebody comes up tomorrow to say this is an issue, we're not talking of the rest, trump up charges. This is a concern because it happened sometime in Edo State, if I'm not mistaken, and we don't want it to happen tomorrow. So there are some of these issues that can come out. The process again can start for impeachment, and we may be back to square one.
I certainly hope not. Just to forestall that, Professor Peterside, how do we prevent a regression to the crisis that brought us here? Is this, the president has intervened, but we don't know the details of this agreement. So in your thoughts, if you were to put advice out, what would it be?
Smart man once said that the absence of war does not mean the presence of peace. I think we've been here before. We need to see the process play out. The governor has acquiesced in dissolving his cabinet. Hopefully he will submit a list that is to the assembly that is acceptable to the FCT minister and his supporters. The House of Assembly has offered an olive branch by, suspend. They did not withdraw the impeachment, by the way. They suspended it, meaning that it is still in play. So this process needs to move forward, and let's see where the dots and the T's are crossed. I'm hoping that as the elections are coming close, that is in the best interest of everybody to lay down their arms and make some progress in governing the state so that they can have something to claim when they come back for our votes. Am I certain that this is going to happen? Do I have any confidence? No, because I think that the personalities involved are very strong, and I like to see some compromise between them and find a middle ground to get the state moving.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for obliging us tonight.
Thank you. Good evening.